So you're thinking about moving to Independence, Missouri. Well, in this video, we're gonna take you all around Independence, Missouri, and we're gonna do it from an aerial view as the crow flies. Show you all the hot spots, show you where you wanna be, where you don't wanna be. And if you stick around to the end, we're gonna show you some of the best kept secrets Independence has to offer. And we're gonna get after it right now. Hey, if this is your first time tuning into the channel and you don't know everything there is about living in Kansas City and the surrounding areas like Independence, then click subscribe, hit the little bell for notifications so you can be the first to know of the local market here in the Kansas City area. My name is Zach Morton. My business partner Max Jones, the team and I have been helping people move to Kansas City for over 20 years and we absolutely love it. But you don't have to take my word for it. See what our clients have to say with over 600 5-star Google reviews. So whether you're moving in 3 days or 3 months, pick up the phone, give us a call, shoot us a text, drop us an email, or even schedule a Zoom so we can help you make a smooth move to Kansas City. All right, so like I said, we're talking about Independence today. And we're gonna be taking a look at the Google map and I'll be drawing on it, making some pretty pictures here so you guys can see what's going on. All right, so let's take a look at the map. We're gonna look at, as the crow flies from the top here, we're on a Google map. And as you can see, I like to kind of start out and zoom out away from everything. So we're gonna start kind of zoomed out. We got Kansas City here as a whole. And you can see Independence is on the southeast side of the city right here outlined in red. Pretty big city. It is over 78 square miles of land right here. So one of the bigger cities in Kansas City. And so getting to that, let's start with that. If you're flying into Kansas City to start looking at properties, you're gonna be coming in right up here is the airport. The airport is on the north side of the Missouri line. I'm gonna go ahead and draw in the, as you may or may not know, that there's a Kansas City, Kansas and a Kansas City, Missouri. And the dividing line is this river until we get to this point, and then it drops straight down. So we've got Missouri over here and Kansas down here. I need to practice my writing. So Missouri's got this big side over here, Kansas over here. And Independence is landing right on that southeast, or almost central really, of Kansas City. Now let's erase that. We'll zoom in a little bit. All right, erase that. So you're gonna be landing in the airport. It's gonna be right up here. And getting there, you got a couple options. It's pretty easy to get to. I know we've talked about this in the past, but if you've watched some of our other videos, like our vlog video or map video, we've done one on Overland Park, Liberty, and a lot of the other areas. But 435 is a highway that will loop you around the entire city. It's just one big, huge loop. Pretty forward thinking, but a nice way to get around and avoid a lot of traffic. You've also got your other major highways going north to south. 35, you have 169 that'll shoot you right down the middle. And then we have I-70, cuts right across and goes east to west, all the way from coast to coast. So most likely coming from the airport, probably your fastest way, just depending on traffic, is to hop on 435, make the loop, drops you right down in the middle of Independence. But you can also cruise down I-29, cut through downtown and cut over. And it's gonna take you anywhere from the airport. You're probably looking about 35 minutes to get right down here. So not long at all. In fact, pretty much getting anywhere in Kansas City is, you're never any further than 45 minutes from anywhere. If you're up here, you can get down here in 45 minutes. So pretty easy city to get around with. All right, let's clean that up. Let's zoom in a little bit. After all, we're talking about Independence. All right. We'll get it right in the middle. So right down here where my pointer is right now, that's where it all started. That's the town square. We've done a vlog on this, so if you want to see while we're walking around town talking about things, point some stuff out. So this is your downtown square. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on this a little bit. It's about 12 or so blocks of, you know, exactly what you expect. Independence was established in 1827, I believe, so almost 200 years ago. So a lot of old buildings, a lot of old, kind of that old Main Street look. We do have a Main Street right here. In the middle of that is a huge courthouse. They still hold court sessions there. And around that, you're gonna have little shops, you're gonna have restaurants, in that immediate square, shops, yoga. Like I said, check out our vlog because we're walking around there showing you some of what that looks like. And then once you start to back away from that, you have the older homes, 200-year-old homes that kind of go off in a grid from there. So lots of older homes. It's kind of the newer stuff. If you check out our vlog, up in this section a little bit to the northeast, you're gonna see some of the homes that we toured. Anywhere, the price points, I think they were like $225 all the way up to $450 for some brand new construction. So check those out. We take you walking through those neighborhoods so you can see exactly what that looks like. Now, I will tell you right out of the gate that most people that live in the Kansas City metro area, when they hear Independence, it kind of gets a bad rap. And I'll tell you why that is. As you can see, this right here is the downtown area. Let me start. Anything south of this river kind of puts you in downtown. That's where all the office building is, a lot of apartments and kind of project-y areas. And really, let's say, so you don't get in trouble doing this, but it's what you need to know. Anything kind of east of 71, and I would say you could go as far as 435, is probably where most people aren't going to want to live. That's where the crime rates are a little higher. The housing prices are just a little sketchier, and being this close to downtown, it is separated by a highway, is where, if you start looking at everybody's, people moving, they want to know about schools, they want to know about safety, they want to know about property values. So just to kick it off right out of the gate, this does have slightly elevated crime rates compared to other parts of the city. Not by much, but a little bit. There is the violent crime is actually a little bit higher than the average, but the petty theft and the stuff like that actually comes in way lower than average. And I'm not I don't have access to the police data and all that, but I can almost guarantee you, and my bet would be that being this close to downtown, some of this area on the east side of Independence, it still has that kind of, a lot of this bleeds into that. So you'll kind of get, I think that's where it's a lot of those, the negative numbers are kind of coming from. So anybody coming into town, I'd recommend the further you go east, the nicer it's going to get. And in fact, once you get past this river right here, which intersects it almost, not quite in half, but then you're getting into farmland and country land and acreage and all that. So a big difference as you continue to move east through Independence. So let's talk about schools a little bit. It does have, all right, let's zoom in a little further. Like I said, right here is the square. It's going to be the oldest part. 1827 is when when that was established, and they started building around it from there. So a lot of older homes, everything you kind of expect with a 200-year-old town right around here. And then it quickly expands into some newer construction up in this general direction, and then even as you go further out east, you're into acreages and farmland and stuff like that, and parks. There is, as I said, I-70 is that major highway that runs east to west all the way across the country. It goes right through the heart of Kansas City. And as you can see right here, it runs through the southern edge of Independence. So along that, you're gonna have all your like big box stores, all those shops that you'll typically see on the highway. So that's, we've got a Costco right here. I'm a Costco member, so us Costco people love our Costcos. You've got the Bass Pro Shop. I think everybody's familiar with the Bass Pro Shop, but not. That's a massive sporting goods store right there. It's got a lake behind it with a waterfall park. We've got, for our mall people, we've got Independence Center. I'm not much of a mall guy, but you got that. You've got your Chick-fil-A and just everything in between. Restaurants all over the place, all over the board. We've got them on the north side up here and all the way down here off I-72. I think when I pulled up a list of restaurants just to kind of see what was in the area and what we've got, there's well over 100 of them. So, you're not gonna have any problem finding food. However, there is one thing I'll point out. There's not many like 5-star dining areas in Independence. Most of that stuff's gonna be downtown on the plaza. You're gonna go down here in Kansas City anyway. That's where people up north are typically going for their 5-star meals and, for entertainment. And it's just a hop, skip, and a jump to get there as well. You're probably looking at, 20, 25 minutes to the entertainment district in downtown Kansas City. So easy enough to get to. Got parks. I will point out that we have the Gia Field, the Royals, and Chiefs Stadium. That's going to be right over here. It's just outside of Independence, so didn't quite make it in there, but man, is it close. So if you're a big sports fan, you'll like that part. We've got your Hy-Vees, there is something else I wanted to point out. We've got All right, right by our Costco that we pointed out a minute ago, we have Cable Dahmer Arena. And that's the big sports arena where they'll have hockey games, ice hockey games, concerts, soccer team, the Comet Soccer play there. So that's a great spot. I think it's the only spot we have in Kansas City for ice hockey at the moment. We used to have a spot downtown, but now this is the place you go for ice hockey. So cool, real easy to get to right off the highway. All right, back to this map. I'm gonna click on the layers here real quick just so you can see the grid. Hopefully you can still see this outline. That's the Independence outline. Like I said, here's the downtown area, the old downtown, and then it grids off from there. As you go this direction, you're gonna have the lower house pricing, and I think you're gonna find yourself getting into a little more trouble down in this area. Further you go east, the property values are gonna continue to climb. And less crime and better neighborhoods and better schools and all that stuff is generally, just to paint you a picture on what you see. And then even over here, as you can tell, once you get east of Little Blue Parkway, we are looking at lots of farmland. You can see it all right here. There's a parks and recreation area, and then the Winchester ammunition plant, which takes up a lot of space out there where they make ammunition. Looks like they have a shooting range there too. I haven't been to it, but it's quite a big place. So as far as things to do in Independence, it's not one of those destination cities where everybody's going there to do stuff, but if you're living there, there's lots of things that you'll find all over the city that you find in almost every other city, just no major attractions. But it was home to Harry S. Truman, which was our president. So he lived there and called Independence home and didn't live too far from the square. So with some presidential history, you're gonna have museums and houses and lots of tours and art museums and stuff like that in the older part of downtown that you can visit if you're a history buff. We've got lots of walking trails, lots of parks, lots of golf courses. There's a couple of really nice golf courses in Independence. The historic Truman Walking Trail. We mentioned Cable Dahmer Arena, which actually is going to be an event spot that people will go to from all over the city. So that will have a little pole, and there you're getting soccer, the Mavericks, and then live concerts. I think Zach Brown Band's played there, and several others. Restaurants, we touched on that. You're going to find every kind of food you want to eat in Independence. Very culturally diverse. You got to check out your barbecue. Almost every city in Kansas City is going to have barbecue, and when you're in here, if you're visiting or coming to look at houses, you got to stop and taste it. We have so many different flavors of sauce. You wouldn't believe it, the variety of barbecue and how much each spot can make it just a little different. And I'm sure that I have my top three. And I think everybody does. You can almost ask anybody in town, what's your favorite barbecue? And almost every time you're gonna get a different answer, and you're gonna learn about places you've never heard of. It still happens to me every day. There's always barbecue joints popping up, and anyway, just something to do while you're here that you definitely don't wanna forget about. Got the Big Biscuit First Watch. Just throwing out a couple names here of, we got Thai food, barbecue, whatever, you get the idea. Santa Caligan Days, we touched on this in the vlog. There's a little more information on that. That's just a huge festival that draws over 300,000 people right to Independence's downtown, where they celebrate. A lot of the spots. We got the river running right through Kansas and Missouri. All the settlers that were heading out west kind of use this as their getting off point. So in almost every one of these little cities and towns that you stop off in, the Oregon Trail, the Overland Trail, the California Trail, all these trails kind of went right through here, and these were some of the last outfitters where you'd go and stock up on all your stuff before you head west. So you'll see remnants of that everywhere. And then there was also a lot of Native Americans that kind of lived in these areas, so a lot of history there too. So it's something that you'll notice when you're in town. All right, schools. So you definitely want to know about schools when you're moving to an area, right? So independent schools, we've got 16 elementary schools, 5 middle schools, and 3 high schools. Now, all together, when you take the average of all these schools, they come in just under the average. However, the elementary schools are rated pretty high, way above the average. The middle schools are rated right at average, and then the 3 high schools are what brought the rating down just a little bit, and that was according to niche.com when I looked at that, and then greatschools.org. So I think overall, I read a lot of reviews on the schools, and I know other people in the areas, and I think that's pretty consistent. They're decent, but when you go in and read some of that, you might be able to be better served in other neighborhoods if schools are super important to you as far as public education goes. Now, there are private schools. There's lots of private schools there too, super highly rated. Cost of living. Well, the cost of living in Independence is one of the best. It comes in at 14.5%, the national average. And what you're gonna find, the kind of the demographics for the area, according to niche.com, was $54,000 is the median income. We've got median price, or the average price. I actually pulled this right from the multiple listing service, which we have access to as real estate agents. And last year, 202 was the average price point, and all the way up to some of the properties we take you to are 400, and all the way down to in the 180s is what I would say. I think if you look at our vlog, we'll kind of show you some price points, but I feel that most people are going to be comfortable in that price point, that 180s to the 450s. It's kind of a good spread of what you can find with something you can turn the key, 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, a garage or 2, turn the key and start living in a decent neighborhood. And we touch on all that. So I think that falls right in there in some of the best prices per square foot that you'll find in the city. All right, and just off, let me zoom back in on this map. Almost forgot I'm doing a map video here. Zooming back in on downtown Independence, just off the square, we're gonna go west onto Peace Drive. I'm gonna click on this just so you can see it. You can go to our vlog tour too as I walk up to this and get some shots of it, and we have some drone footage of it. But this is the Temple Lots. Oh, I made it disappear. The Temple Lots. It is a Mormon church. So once a year they have a lot of people that come out from Utah, and it's called the Temple, and this is the spot where supposedly Jesus Christ is going to make his reappearance. It's also noted the second Jerusalem. It's right here in the middle of Kansas City and right in the middle of Independence. So who would have thought? But it is a very beautiful piece of architecture. I think it's almost 300 feet tall. There's all kinds of information on the Temple Lots, or the Temple if you type that in and Google it, if that's something you're interested in. But all kinds of history, religious history, and then I think there's a couple acres that they own right there, and they've developed over the years. There's a museum, and I believe that this is even open for, I think, like a 1 o'clock prayer or something that goes on there. I mean, like I said, you can look that up. But if that's something that's important to you, it's right there in the heart of Independence. All right, so that is Independence in a nutshell and from a bird's eye view. I would love, if you found this video useful, please give it a like, give it a thumbs up so other people can find it. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments below. And if you live in Independence or have lived in Independence, if you feel that I missed anything or you want to add anything to that, please comment below. I'd love to get a little conversation going. I really appreciate that, and I love hearing what the locals have to say. I would say all in all that my take on Independence is, if you're looking for a little more bang for your buck, then Independence is a great place to get a little more square footage, that old town feel. If safety is your concern, which I think it probably is for everybody, just be cautious. Make sure you got a local guide that knows their way around the area, so you're not ending up in a part of town you don't want to be in. Generally, the better part of town, you spend a little more money. Your property values are also going to go up a little bit faster. So that's why I said if you focus staying to the east a little bit, you're going to get all the advantages of town. Being close to the city, still you're not that far away, but you're going to stay away from kind of those high crime areas. And there's really nothing. There's nothing that you need to go down there for anyway. All the shopping and restaurants and grocery stores and all that are going to be to the east. So just something to keep in mind if you're looking in the area. And then again, if you don't have children that are school age, then maybe that's something that you want to look at too. If schools are super important to you, like I said, elementary were all really high rated. Middle school was rated high too. If you're just going to be here for a couple of years and you don't have to worry about high school, then maybe that's fine. If it's really not that big a deal to you and just below average is fine, and I think it's still a great school system. But I would encourage you to read the reviews, do some more research around that. So I think all in all, it's a good price for the square footage for what you get. There are other places in the city, if any of those things do concern you, that there's certainly other places in the city that we can help you identify that might be a good fit for you. But in the meantime, I hope you found that useful. And of course, let us know if you have any questions. You can always reach out, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, or schedule a Zoom call. We'd be happy to talk to you more in details about this. Give us a like, let us know what you think, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye now.